I don't have an exercise science degree. I played college soccer, and but I have an accounting degree, and I got my master's in accounting. So how that came to be is because I have a twin. He came home freshman year, I think winter break, and my mom asked him, "Hey, what are you going to major in?" He said accounting. And of course, being a competitive person, this is
You're like, I'm going to major in
yeah,
accounting
like
too.
me and my brother, we used to we used to race to the bus stop every morning, and I would never let him win. And my mom one morning was like, "Hey, we let him win one time." I was like, "Hell no, I'm not going to let him win." So when he came home telling my mom he's going to do accounting, I was like, "Okay, I'll do it too, and I'll be better at it than you." And I quickly found out I was not very I was good at it, but not as good as my brother. So I got my master's in accounting. I went in the accounting world. I worked for a Big Four firm. That's what you want to do out of college. If you have an accounting degree, you want to work for one of the Big Four. I worked there for a while, and but I got exposed. I got exposed to accounting, and they always say accounting is the language of business. You have to understand credits and debits. You got to understand how cash flows. I was on the tax side also, so I got some tax experience. I just got a good grounding on how business works, and if you can read numbers on an income statement and assets and liabilities, you're going to understand anything is thrown in front of you, no matter what the business is. And I thought when I left accounting, like, I'm never going to use that again. But Devin called me in 2017 and said, "Hey, do you want to be the head trainer at Burn Boot Camp Huntersville?" And without hesitation, I said, "Yes, I will," not knowing what I was going to get into. And he said, "Okay, great. You got 2 weeks to move down here and find a place." And that was it. So I literally Googled cheapest, closest apartment next to Burn Boot Camp Huntersville. I drove down on September 30th, 2017. I started October 1, 2017, and grinded. I cut my teeth for 3 years being a head trainer at Huntersville and eventually Burn Boot Camp Lake Norman. Shit was hard. It is hard. Like waking up at 4 a.m. And I am not naturally energetic. I am not naturally energetic. I learned to flip a switch and did that for 3 years. COVID hit. And I was thinking, like, dude, what am I going to do? Like, it's been 3 years. I still remember Devin walking into a camp during COVID. We had these squares, and I hated it. Like, dude, this sucks. Like, I can't train people one-on-one. You got to be hands-off with people. We were also doing camps through a screen, which was, we had to do it, but it's not what I love to do. And he could tell. He's like, dude, that wasn't you who trained that camp. Like, we got to figure something out. So we talked we talked about programming, and I love to do that. I did it the first day I walked down here. Me, Ashley Beasley, and Ashley Hearn were the other trainers at Huntersville. We would get together every day after noon camp. We'd write the workout for the next day, and I just love that creative side of putting a product that I knew people would like to do, and that helped me eventually when a programming role opened up at HQ. So I went into that role, but at the same time, still doing that, COVID was still happening a little bit. And me and my wife would do YouTube workouts for Lake Norman. And I figured out how to talk and work out at the same time without being annoying. And,
well, at least to everyone but Mel.
yeah, I remember, oh dude, there were times where towards the end of COVID, we'd have to press stop. We'd be like, all right, I got to fix something on the computer. We'd press stop. Be like, more would be like, if you do this one more time, and I'd be like, shut up. And it's like, okay, we got to go 3, 2. All right, we're back. And so I think a lot of things.
I think everyone can relate to that, Matt.
Everything can relate to that. But, having the business side in college, which I had, and then the fitness side, I've always loved fitness. Learning how to structure a workout that was scalable is an art and a science. And now eventually I'm in a role where, you're in charge of the fitness product where we have 140,000 members, a nutrition business where I have to know numbers and to be profitable, and but also the Burn On Demand side. I think, DK started Burn On Demand right when COVID hit in his basement, and we eventually did it in the studio, and you guys saw Burn On Demand. We launched it on our app 2 years ago, and now we have 15,000 subscribers on Burn On Demand. So my point of telling you the story is to anyone listening, don't say no to something that might scare you a little bit. Because I easily could have said, no, Devin, I'm not going to move down to North Carolina in 2 weeks from Michigan. There's no way I can do that. You just got to figure it out. Figure it out. Get better at it. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. I have. But if you continually show up every day asking yourself to get better, then you're going to do that.
And I remember the first apartment that you had down here. It was
Dude.
It was right next to where we started the original Burn in a parking lot, Fun to Be Fit Gymnastics Center. It was called the Huntersville Apartments.
Yeah.
And Matt had a mattress on the floor.
Yeah.
And that was basically it. And then you had bins of chicken and rice in your refrigerator, and that was it.
Yeah.
A bed and chicken and rice.
If you know me, I'm a minimalist. I do not give one F about where I sleep. All I need is a place to sleep, and I didn't even have a TV and food. But my wife, Monica, still lived in Michigan, and when her parents moved her down to that apartment, her dad took me out of the apartment and was like, Matt, how much money do you need to move out of here? I was like, don't worry, we're going to be out soon. But yeah, I didn't care. All I needed is sleep and eat. And I did that for a year. It was rough by the end, but